Hi guys, and welcome back from Carly at the Herbathicary. Really good to see you guys again. If you're new to the channel or like the videos, please show your support by hitting like and subscribe down below. So this video is neither crochet nor foraging, but as two of my great friends have just got engaged and they're on a budget, they asked me to do a video on my hand fasting. It was June 2017 when my then partner and father of my 3 children had a really bad accident. Luckily, he wasn't hurt and no other cars were involved, but I will admit that I panic proposed. I wanted it to be on our 10-year anniversary, which was 2 months' time away, so we got onto the registry office and tried to book that date. Then, the next month, his stepfather sadly passed away, and the expenses were so high, my husband even built the coffin. We had a lovely guy who does a TV series called Morbid. He lent us the hearse, and they even helped us with the procession. But even with that help, the cost was still too high, and my husband was off from work with bereavement. We had to vacate our beautiful large home shortly, and to make matters worse, we found out that because of getting hold of my father's birth certificate, we couldn't do it on the date we wanted. As the majority of our friends and family would now be making the 5-hour trip up, with the funeral being set 2 days before, I was even more determined to do it on that specific day. So we had the venue, but as most of our funds had been used on the funeral, while James was building his father's coffin, I set to planning and doing our DIY hand fasting. Here's a short video from some filming I did the week after. So, it's officially a week today since we did it, and I am finally getting around to taking everything down. Really didn't want to. Most beautiful day of my life, our hand fasting, and then 2 days later it was on Game of Thrones. And I got hundreds of messages from friends going, I thought it was some hippie thing you made up. But no, and it was beautiful. And it was here, in our circle. And the dog got to join in. There's plenty of photos of the whole thing. I'll be going through what we did, how we did it, how we made it our own. How I made the decorations and things myself. So we had the perfect spot at the bottom of our garden, and I repurposed this trellis I'd bought, this arch for my roses, and this chiffon wrapped string of fairy lights that has appropriately adorned our bed for the last 10 years. Now we needed someone to perform the ceremony, and as James's uncle had just unfortunately become the elder of the family, I couldn't think of anyone better. I searched the internet for the perfect ceremony rites for us. However, not one of them seemed just perfect for us. So I gave them to him and asked him to have a play with them and adjust that to us. And my research showed that traditionally it is the officiator who binds the bride and groom to be. But as we've been through so much with our family and friends recently, we wanted them involved. So each of them picked a binding for both of us that they thought embolized or symbolized us and our relationship. So as we wouldn't be here without each and every one of them, they all got a chance to tie us up. I already had a wedding dress I'd been allowed to keep after a photo shoot. So other than buying my little man's suit, which we couldn't source anywhere, we were given these beautiful bridesmaids dresses by a friend's mom and matching shoes that somehow fit, so it was just meant to be. And hubby already had his suit and his lucky Valentine's tie. So all we had to do was choose the procession, and as it was absolutely impossible to choose through our best friends that have been with us through everything, we decided to have all of them. All they had to do was wear something red. Bridesmaids didn't, but the best ladies did, which cut down the costs on bridesmaid dresses, and I even got my best friend Vicky in a dress. And my big brother not only gave me away, he was also our photographer. We chose simple silver wedding bands that would tarnish over time with our love, and our neighbour kindly lent us this gazebo as rain was forecast for the day. So all the big details sorted, it was left for me to do what I do best, and that's make things sparkly. Of course I started with my shoes, a tin of white spray paint and lots of glitter and shiny beads in hand. And typical of me, I didn't quite like the first pair, so I made a new pair. Both pairs were bought from a charity shop and cost me under £5. Then I raided every bunch of faux flowers I had in the house, and using garden wire and about £8 worth of flowers bought in, I made these headdresses for the bridesmaids. However, Attie, who was only 3 at the time, totally refused to wear hers. For my headwear, I just made these very simple flowers out of some satin I had left over and glued them to a hair clip. Next, I'd previously bought these 3 packs of photo frames from Poundland as I was going to do a photo wall. So I wanted something for the candles to go in. So I spray painted them white and glittered them. Which did take a few attempts as the glitter didn't want to stick, and using these cute silver diamante lettering that I found in our workshop as they were having a clear out. They were 50p, so I just popped on names using them. But when I ran out of them and out of time, I just used a liquid chalk pen that I had and wrote our names in. I did find these really cute wedding and reception arrows at Home Bargain. They were 99p for the 2, and a string of diamantes which I used to decorate the edges. And as I already had these glass bottles I'd bought for the elderberry syrup I was making, and the batch of sloe gin and raspberry gin that I was working on, I decided to bling them up and use them on the tables as wedding gifts. I then raided every glass, jar, vase or container that I had in the house, gave them a coat of that white spray paint, some glitter and a little bit of bling for the flowers to go into. I then borrowed a couple of the mini hula hoops that my girls had, spray painted them not very well as you can see as I was running out of white paint, and I made these beautiful little white mandalas, glittered them up, and they decorated both the gazebo and the tree by the altar. So we had somewhere cute to take our photos. I found a large picture frame in a charity shop, and I just blinged that up like the other bits and stuck some flowers on. I did get these little arrow things again from Home Bargain. I think they were about 89p, and using those letters I just blinged them up. I also got the Just Married thing from Home Bargain for 99p for the gazebo. For the cards for people to remember the wedding, I printed up these cute little explanations and blinged them up and popped them on lollipop sticks for everyone to take. But to go with the little bottles of gin and vodka, I wanted something more personal to us and to our friends. So I sourced these healing crystals and I printed up little cards with what each of them was for and meant, and popped them on a branch that had fallen that I'd spray painted in little chiffon bags at the entrance to the altar. The big day was approaching fast, so my last sneaky purchase was this post box that I again got from Home Bargain. I think that was about £4, but I still had the mammoth task of making this cake. Very luckily, the same wonderful lady who gave us the girls' dresses lent me her beautiful cake stand, which was perfect as I wasn't entirely certain that I could make a 3-tiered cake. I bought the wood Mr. and Mrs. tree off Amazon Prime. That must have been about £4, and I probably used about £25 worth of ingredients because I did mess up a couple of times. But I got there in the end and finished literally the day before the big day. When that arrived, our friends brought their tents to stay in the garden to save on hotel costs. Everyone helped with hair and makeup, even the dads, and of course James left ironing his shirt till very last. But then after some very amusing hiccups with a Fortnite video advert rather playing before the soundtrack that we'd chosen to walk down the aisle to, once that was out the way, it was the most amazing day, and I finally got to bind with the man of my dreams in the way we wanted to. The day was absolutely amazing, and all in all, I think if we spent £150 in total, I'd be amazed. Our local curry house even gave us it worked out at about 70% discount in the end. So everybody, because we do love a curry in our house and our entire family, everyone had the most amazing time. And it was, if you're going to do it on a budget, this is the way to do it. I hope you guys enjoyed sharing this experience with me. I hope you're encouraged to, even if you don't DIY the whole thing, but at least do as much as you can. If you've got any questions or anything else that you'd like me to talk about, please leave them in the comment section below. This was the most amazing day in my life, and well, other than my 3 babies being born, as I said, we had to leave this place shortly after. My youngest was born there, as my youngest 2 were both home births, but although our time living in this paradise was short-lived, only 3 years in the end, I really, really wanted to leave it with good memories. But before I forget, so far as the binding technique, we did use the eternity knot for the first one, but after the next and the next and the next kept piling on, it became harder to do. And of course, a great party afterwards. All of our lovely friends brought a couple of bottles with them. So again, that saved on expenses so far as food and stuff. Everyone did bring some snacks, and as I said, in that £150 did include some table snacks and obviously the great party afterwards. If you've enjoyed this video, please hit like and subscribe. Let us know if you found it interesting and useful. And of course, we did officially tie the knot legally, eventually, about 2 weeks later.